Hello. Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing? Good. Got to start that way, don't we? We're at our music thing. Come on. How's everyone doing? Yeah. All right. Now I'm feeling happy. Good. I'm Jen, and this is my colleague James, and we're here from Music Broth. Has anyone heard of Music Broth? No. Excellent. Brand new people. Lovely. So we are Musical Instrument and Equipment Library. We're based in Glasgow, and we work across all of Scotland now. We started in 2017. I was one of the dudes that set it up, so I'm the gaffer. And James is our music hub coordinator, so looks after our hub in Glasgow. And the whole idea of setting up Music Broth was that we recognised that a lot of people don't have access to music. So not everyone has a cello that's passed down from their auntie. Not everyone has a MIDI keyboard when they want one, when they're writing new songs. And not everyone has equipment to go out and do gigs when they start performing in their bedroom or their basement or their garage, and then they want to go out in the world. So that was our idea. I'm the oldest of 5 kids, so there wasn't hundreds of music and hundreds of money for music going on in my household. So I'm very, very passionate about that, and that was my idea for setting it up. We've got a little video we're going to play. Unfortunately, it's me talking through that as well, so you're going to have to listen to me twice. Apologies for that. Different haircut, you know. And then we will talk a little bit more about what we do and also how you can get involved and how we can support you as musicians and people who work in the music industry. So here we go. It started in 2017. A local musician was left 8 instruments as a bereavement. We were thinking of ways of sharing that in the community, and we've just grown and grown. Hi, my name's Jen O'Brien, and we're here at Music Broth. So Music Broth is a musical instrument and equipment library. We're Scotland's loudest library, and people mightn't think of a library as being a place to have instruments, but we're doing it. We've got all kinds of instruments, pretty much everything you can think of. We take in instruments from donations in any condition, all for sharing in the community. We fix them up, we restore them, repair them, and we get them out to people to bring joy. So anytime you repair an instrument, instead of digging up the grounds and getting materials and metals to make a new instrument, you're effectively saving that carbon footprint. You basically come in, set up a membership. You can do that online, or you can do that in our space, and then you can reserve instruments, and then you just take your instrument away. We're in 2 sites in Glasgow. We're in Edinburgh once a month. We have a pop-up in partnership with Edinburgh 2 Library, but we operate across Scotland, so if anybody wants an instrument anywhere across Scotland, we'd be happy to get it to you. Twice a week we do a thing called a public jam, where people can come in and play whatever instrument they want. So it's really, really relaxed. We want people to just walk in the door, pick up an instrument, start playing with people they've never met before. It's just for people to have fun, be creative, be themselves. We get money from memberships. We ask people who can afford to pay to contribute. So we earn some more money from hiring out stuff. A lot of our workshops are free to access, so we bid for funding from Scottish Government, Creative Scotland, different organisations, and we use that money to put on workshops. We've got 3 part-time session workers. We have about 15 music tutors that work on a kind of ad hoc basis, and then we have about 30 volunteers. Our volunteers are just the backbone of the organisation. They're just absolutely wonderful people. Well, I think we're pretty well known in Govan Hill now, where we're based. We're working with a lot of community organisations, so I see people who come in through the door and they're really shy, and then now they're playing gigs on stages, so that's really, really powerful for me. It's been really brilliant to see the community welcome what we do and give other people opportunity. Cool. So that was a bit of a sort of whirlwind tour, but I think we wanted to put the video in so you could actually see the library, because I think sometimes when I talk about it, people don't know what it is or how it exists. So our library is a space for people to come in and be themselves and be creative, and we welcome anyone into our library. You don't have to be a musician, you don't have to know what you're doing, whatever that means in the music industry. And you can be any age and in any stage in your life. You can have abilities or disabilities, you can have different ethnic backgrounds, you can have different gender identities, sexual preferences. None of that is an issue for us. All of it is about making people feel welcome. So we started in 2017. We've now got over 2,500 instruments in our library, which is amazing. We started with 8. So massive kudos to the Glasgow community and the wider community, because people donate us stuff and we fix them up. So we'll take stuff in any condition. I think James Harris does a lot of the fixing up, so he's like, any condition. He looks at me when I say that. But we do.
So if we can't make something musical again, we will harvest it for parts. We will use it in a non-musical way, like upcycling or something like that. And we've progressed to sitting on like national boards. So I sit on the cross-party parliamentary group for music because I want musicians to have a voice. So I want to be part of the journey from someone coming into our library, first taking up an instrument, all the way to being on stage, all the way to going out as an artist. And I also walk that talk myself. I'm a musician. I'm creating my own music. I've done the forgetting my words on stage and hitting my head off stuff and falling over the guitar lead and things like that. So I can definitely talk to young people and all kinds of people about that stuff as well. Right, so we're going to whisk on. I've talked a good bit about this. We also support a lot of our volunteers. So people come in and volunteer with us, and this could be people who are unable to work, and they just want to be able to come in and contribute for a couple hours a week. This could be people who are on a road to developing their skills. So they maybe want to work on live sound and they haven't had an opportunity to do that, and we'll give them a few hours to do that. It can be people who are musicians and they just want to learn to be tutors, and they can shadow some of our tutors, and then we can give them opportunities. So it's all about opportunities. It's about well-being. We delivered over 500 instruments during lockdown when a lot of places were shut. We did over 100 online tutorials and workshops during lockdown as well when a lot of places were shut. We want people to be able to be themselves. Couple of examples really quick. Girls Rock Glasgow is a 9-day summer rock school for girls and young people. We provided the instruments for 40 people there, and that's Kelvin Grove Bandstand there. So we organised playing at Kelvin Grove Bandstand, and it meant I was backstage with 1 million guitars with people's names on them, because that was the one they were used to playing all week. As an 8-year-old, that's really important. So I was there going, Katie, that's yours, you're good to go, awesome, smash it. That was my job there, and keeping all the nerves at bay as well. So we provide an ongoing partnership for that. So we've got all the girls' rock equipment. We look after it all year, and then when they want to do their rock school, they're ready to go. Example of music program as well. When we started getting instruments in, people then said to us, can you teach me how to play it? So that was the next thing. So we talk to people about what they want to do. We're about supporting the person as an individual. So what do you want to learn? What do you want to play? And this was a project with the Roma community in Glasgow. And these are all the things that these young people wanted to do. So that's what we put on for them. And an international example, so we support Mishwar. It's an organisation set up by a Scottish guy, is based in Lebanon. So young people are coming into refugee camps, some unaccompanied, some with families. And we sent out a load of percussion instruments to those folks so that they could do instrument classes together. Percussion was a really good option because of the different chord scales and different cultures, and also you don't have to speak the language, so you can hit out a beat no matter what language you speak. And we support a lot of New Scots as well, so people coming into Scotland when you're leaving your homeland through war or other trauma, you're not going to bring your piano with you, so we support lots of people who come over and don't have any instruments. And it also helps people settle in to where they are in Glasgow or in Edinburgh, so that they can play with local people, and you don't have to necessarily have a conversation again and speak language. You can come in, you can play a few chords, you get to know some people, and also you're not maybe, you're bringing your own culture, but you don't have to be the representation of that culture. You don't have to be a refugee, and I think that takes that pressure off people sometimes because they're just turning up as a musician and themselves, so that works for us as well. Right, I'm going to hand over to James. He's going to chat a bit about music industry stuff.
Yeah, so obviously we start with instruments. That was obviously where we began, but very quickly we started getting more higher end stuff that people don't need in the bedrooms, from PAs, backline, things like this. And that was particularly important for me because they're really, really polluting as well if they are disposed of. Because of all the electronics, it just makes their impact much greater. So we started getting PAs, backline, all these things. So we started supporting musicians, getting their first gigs, and going from having smaller amps to needing something large and needing delivery because this still don't have vehicles and things like this. So we began providing those on a basis that meant they can save a bit of money, but also they can choose an ethical supplier, essentially. Through that, we've developed a lot of relationships with different venues as well, so we can also sort of point them in the right direction. And on from there, we've gone to other things in working directly with the venues to use our equipment rather than going and buying new stuff, because as you can see, I mean, we're saying 2,500, but we're probably near 3,000 items now in reality. There's a lot of stuff out there that can still be used. Why buy a new one? Why make a new one if there's still plenty out in society? So yeah, alongside that, we've started developing our own program of events as well. So we have our annual Silent Night, which has been going through since 2018. That's a gig that we put on in a different venue each year as well, kind of spreading it around so far Glasgow. And then summer events, and we've started developing events with other people. So Beatbox Scotland, they have their championships every year, and a few events through the year. We work with them on that as well. They've even started using our ticketing system, and we provide all the technical need, whether it's during lockdown when it all had to go online, or whether it's in person. And around that, we've started to really be able to provide the whole thing. Alongside that, so we've also worked with venues to provide their backline. So the Keg started having regular gigs, but they had a really tiny space, and I was like, we can actually work with that because we've got some drum kits that are great, but a little bit smaller. And then, okay, these were originally flags, but they've clearly not worked on the transfer. We've also started providing equipment for international touring bands as well. So actually out of this event last year, and relationships with Canada, Garry band decided to hire their equipment for their UK tour. Same with the Trusty Girls when they came over from the US just a few months ago. And also, that should actually be the Scottish flag. Visceral Noise Department, when they went around England, they used our stuff. And we've started working with festivals as well, whether it's Paisley Food and Drink, all the way up to Connect Festival last year in Kelburn, and Cycle Arts Festival. So again, the environmental side coming in very, very clear. And people are starting to come to us. The fact that we have volunteers and a team that is multidisciplinary as well. So when it comes to Cycle Arts, we've got people who can span both the environmental, the science, and the music. So we're trying to be really innovative in the way that we do that. And then that means that we can provide that social and environmental benefit alongside supporting the arts, music, etc. And the impact socially on that, we've run projects with the Managed Alcohol Project in Glasgow that had amazing outcomes because our guitar tutor was able to take a group that originally was only learning guitar. At the end of it, not part of the plan at all, they're now recording as a band before the project's even finished. So we're hoping that will go forward. And the same again with social inclusion and health. On the volunteer side, we've actually, that was again completely unplanned, but volunteers are now getting referred to us from GP practices because people who have been stuck at home, long-term health issues, coming outside is a really big thing. And then they hear about music, they come out, and some of the improvements we've seen with our volunteers has been absolutely huge. Music allowed them to get out, but then they were still very reserved. But then by the end, they're actually some of our most valuable, most important volunteers in terms of the skills they've either shared or learned and are now sharing. And it's absolutely fantastic that that's something we've been able to do. And again, alongside the environmental side, so we're also part of Circular Community Scotland. We're at the bleeding edge of trying to push the idea of share libraries and repair, because the skills have gone in repair and everyone just thinks buy first. So we're at the bleeding edge of that, and we're trying to lead that through Circular Community Scotland. So by supporting us as well, we're supporting that future and building that to make it the norm in Scotland. Yeah, so last bit, get involved. We've got hubs in Glasgow and Edinburgh, but we've also got hubs starting to appear across Scotland. Particularly this year, we're going to have quite a few developments that way, so keep an eye out. So you can get stuff in other places. And we will supply to anywhere. People across the breadth of Scotland have had equipment from us. We've just gone, well, courier fee is not that much these days. We've got our events, as we spoke earlier, and we are working with a number of international people as well, whether it's Music Beyond All Borders, No Labels, No Walls, and lots of other things are constantly coming up in the music and repair community. And people can volunteer with us, get placements with us, and organisations and businesses. As I said earlier, we have permanent backline now in venues, and also we do have a crowdfunder at the moment, which is supported by Creative Scotland. So for the next few days, any donations on there will get match funded. So it'd be brilliant if you can help with that as well. We'll be along one-to-one later. And if you do see us and have any questions about working on weird projects or just as an artist using us or as a venue, give us a shout.
Is there any questions? Anyone got any questions? Yeah. Can we get a mic? You can always see us afterwards as well if you've got questions one-to-one. But
yeah, it was just a question about what you were saying, that you help with teaching people how to play stuff. Do you also teach things like being able to mix music, like in Logic Pro and stuff like that?
yeah,
And
absolutely.
is that all, it's free, or is there a charge, or do you allow, like, if you're able to pay, you put donations and stuff, is anything like that, yeah?
Yeah, we do. So 90% of what we do is free because our musical library, we ask people to contribute if they can, but then the membership is only £6 a month. It's quite a low membership for getting out a, £250 guitar or something like that. But we want people to be able to access stuff. So we apply to like Creative Scotland and organisations like that for funding and to enable us to put on free workshops as well. James, in fairness, set up our own ticketing system, so none of our fees go to Eventbrite or anything like that. We've set that up ourselves, and there is a donation option on that as well. Whenever we set up a workshop, there's a donation option on it as well. But yeah, we've done music production workshops, we've done DJing, we've done, we've got one coming up in the next few weeks in Ableton for beginners, kind of thing. So yeah, we do lots of different stuff like that. Awesome. Thanks very much, you guys. We're just a little bit over our time, so we've done all right, I think. Cameron's all right. He's happy. Good. Okay. Awesome. Thank you very much. We're outside. Give us a shout, and we're here for the rest of the conference as well. Okay. Cheers. Thank yous.